As you probably guessed by the title of this video, how I stay cool in the summertime when I'm out camping. I struggle more with the heat than I do with the cold because I run hot because of my medical condition. So I thought I'd share a few of the tips with you and some tricks that I use as well, just to stop me from getting that properly overheated when things get hot. Because when you're out in the forest on your own, you've got a lot of work to do. There's wood processing and more wood processing, and there's wood processing. We'll get the obvious stuff out of the way first, because I believe it's pretty much all you see on many YouTube channels when they're talking about how to stay cool in the camping in the summer. It's the same thing, X, Y, Z, but I'll mention it to at least let you know that I am aware of those things. First, and obviously the most important one, is keep hydrated. Make sure you've got enough water. Even those moments when you're really hot and go, oh, I'm really thirsty, dry mouth. Ah. Don't guzzle the water, just sips, small gulps. If you do start having a dry mouth and you're feeling because that often makes you feel thirsty, is the dry mouth. Take half a mouthful of water, swill it around, rinse your mouth out, get it all nice and moisturized and wet, soaking, and then swallow that. And that makes a huge difference, and that will stop you from drinking too much water as well. Speaking of dry mouth, it's a trick that the military use as well, and it's highly recommended, especially in hot conditions. Do your utmost best under all circumstances, whether you're exerting energy or just relaxing. Breathe through your nose. Keep your mouth shut. You don't lose as much moisture that way as well. The other one is obviously try and get in the shade. Less sunshine, less ultraviolet, whatever's on you. So yeah, so what should you be wearing really, I suppose? We'll start with the bottom and work our way up to the top. On your feet, you want some lightweight supporting boots or shoes, something that's going to help your feet breathe, because they're the ones that are going to sweat the most, because they're going to be doing the most work, I suppose, during the day. In terms of socks, I still recommend merino wool socks. Even the thin ones, they're fantastic at regulating the temperature on your feet, and obviously wicking away that moisture as well. If you're lucky enough to find 50% and above in the wool factor, go for those ones if you can. They're a little bit more expensive, but worth the money. On the legs, obviously short trousers is more beneficial than long trousers for stopping your legs from getting too hot. But as you see, I've been wearing long trousers today, and the main reason for that is because in the Swedish forests there are a phenomenal amount of ticks during the dry season, and many other biting insects as well, which cause problems. So even with bug repellent spray, you can still get caught out. I was out last weekend with a friend and I got bitten twice. So yes, in terms of trousers, if you do have to wear long trousers, again, loose fitting as possible, and make sure you can get as much airflow going up and down your legs. Even if you get those moments where you can roll up the bottom of your trouser leg just to cool them down a little bit. Top half, your body, I'm wearing a long sleeve moisture wicking top, which has a crazy amount of ventilation on the back. That's just mesh, and it goes under the armpits as well on both sides. The reason for me wearing the long sleeve moisture wicking one is because we have quite a high wind. This will be beneficial over something like a loose fitting linen shirt, which is option 2. Again, airflow helps your body cool down a little bit, and the baggier the better. And mentioning the Bedouin thing, they just wear black for the best beneficial reasons, because it actually the black fabric for them, I won't get into it, no, wrong conversation. Yes, a loose fitting linen shirt. Again, if you're wearing a shirt, try and avoid synthetic fabrics. These are designed to wick away moisture when you're active. If you're just sitting there and it's very humid, these things are worthless. The humidity outside is just as bad as the humidity on the inside, so there's nowhere for the moisture to wick. So you just end up getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So be mindful, I suppose, where you're going. But if you're not sure, then a thin linen shirt is your go-to, is your number one choice. Your head, if you are going to be exposed to quite a lot of sunlight, protect your head from the sun, because that's obviously your head puts out most of your body heat, I believe. I want to say 80%, but I could be wrong. Of your 80% of your body heat, I mean, but I don't know whether that figure has changed as science has improved. So as you can see, I've got a hiking cap with ventilation at the side. Obviously, you could wear a bandana, you could wear a multi-scarf or a buff. You could even wear a smorg or something over the top of your head if things get too bad. It sounds counterproductive. You're hot, put a hat on. But it does actually work. It honestly works. I've run out of body, haven't I? So that's it. Hands, you don't really need gloves, do you? But my tip, underwears. Underwears as well. Again, try and avoid synthetic fabrics, loose fitting if possible. For the ladies, that might not be so much an easier choice. Can you get lady boxer shorts? I believe you can. But again, try and go for natural fabrics, especially. In terms of underwear, I would actually recommend bamboo. Some people call it bamboo cotton, but cotton is cotton, bamboo is bamboo. So the bamboo fabric underwear is fantastic for being breathable, and obviously being antibacterial material as well, depending on how old they are. Especially if you're getting sweaty down in the nether regions, it's beneficial for you as well. When you start getting too hot and you need to cool down, how do you cool down? You don't want to bring a fan with you. You might want to bring a fan with you, but you haven't got a fan. Let's assume you don't have a fan. So how do you cool down? This is where the multi-scarf comes in better than a hiking cap or a baseball cap. Keeps the sun out your eyes and keeps the sun off your head. But a multi-scarf, you can cover a bit more of your head. You can also cover the back of your neck. This is one of mine, unfolded. I believe this one is this is a cotton mix, specifically bought. So you put that on your head. You can cover your neck with it a bit more. You can put it down over your ears, stop your ears from getting burned, cover your neck, and they're more comfortable. And obviously, you're getting too hot. So the common trick you probably heard is you get this wet. And the wet's an exaggeration. You want to get it damp. So I would use my little water thing, but unfortunately, I can't get the pressure to at least get this wet and get it damp enough to show you perfectly how it is. So I may end up doing this when I get back home and showing you. So you put it on, wring it out, so there's no more water drops coming out, so it's damp. Then shove that on your head, and that will pull the heat away from your head. The moisture, as that evaporates, will take the heat away with it as well. Very effective. If that starts becoming a little bit uncomfortable, another method is you can put it around your neck and have it damp. And obviously you've got your main arteries running up to your head. And you've probably seen a lot of people hiking like this as well, with the neck scarf on there. If it's damp, that will cool the blood vessels going up to the head. Also quite effective. Another little trick taken from nature is try and cool down where your main arteries reach closer to the skin. So obviously your neck, on your wrists and your forearms, getting them damp every now and then and wiping away any icky sweat is surprisingly effective. The arteries you have running down at the top of your legs, they're a little bit more difficult to get to. The same as the ones down on your ankles. So yeah, focus on the arteries on your neck, keeping your neck warm, and your forearms cool as well. Obviously, if you don't have a neck scarf, you could also use a smorg. Same scenario. Again, just get it damp. This one is just pure cotton and very, very fine, very, very finely woven. So this is fantastic at cooling you down. I'm not quite sure if a proper smorg is... I think, yeah, a proper smorg is a bit heavier material than this. This is a very lightweight styled, very large neck scarf / bandana. Oh, bandana, yeah. That's the other option for your head, a bandana. While I'm thinking about it, practice what you preach. All right, so that's the usual suspects on how to keep cool. If I've missed anything, I do apologise, but you'll probably find the usual obvious stuff elsewhere. So I do apologise if I've missed something obvious. But other tricks on keeping cool that I have not seen anyone else use or talk about, and even in guys I know that are in the military, they were like, "Ooh, I like that." So let's get down to some nitty gritty on how to cool yourself down a little bit more. Even if I know there is a water source near where I'm going to be camping, I always do this one trick. And that's I will take my water canteen. Most of the time what I have is 1 litre bottles. I do have a large 2 litre Nalgene container as well. Works with the same thing. It's all about what you want to do. Yes, so I take a litre of water in my canteen and I put it in the freezer overnight. I freeze it. I give myself a block of ice. And then I will wrap that bottle in aluminium foil. Shiny side on the outside so it reflects the heat back out. And as the day progresses, that in my rucksack slowly melts. So an ice cold drink, as we all know when we start overheating, is a little slice of heaven, isn't it? So that helps a lot. If I do take a second bottle with me, I will have that in the fridge overnight, and then while I get up in the morning, I'll put that in the freezer just to chill down a little bit more. And if I am taking something that's in a can, as you've probably seen on some of my videos, I do enjoy a nice beer in the evening. So I'll take 2 or 3 cans of beer with me. And even if you're going with a group of friends and you're taking a lot more, again, something I recommend doing too, you have those neoprene can coolers. They stop your beer from getting too warm. And despite the rumours, being an Englishman, I do not enjoy warm beer. I don't know any Englishman that enjoys warm beer. Maybe I haven't met one yet, but I'm pretty sure none of us do. It's a myth, I guess, because we're sitting there, we take so long drinking a beer, by the time we get to the bottom, it's warm. So I digress. So, cans of drink, I have the same scenario as well. I will put them in the fridge overnight, so they're cooled down, and in the morning, or depending where I put them in the freezer and how many I've got in there, I can actually put the can of beer in the bottom of the freezer where it's not as cold. And then knowing about a certain amount of time and knowing your own freezer, you know how long you can leave something in there before the can explodes, because obviously the liquid expands. And again, I will then wrap them in tin foil. It's what we call in England, tin foil, aluminium foil. I don't know why we call it tin foil. Was it ever made of tin? Or was it always aluminium? Worth knowing, I suppose. But yeah, again, I'll wrap those in aluminium foil, shiny side on the outside, for the same reasons. Using a similar method, you can also turn part of your backpack into a cool bag as well. If you have pouches on your backpack, you can line that with the aluminium foil as well. To make it really efficient, you have a layer of aluminium foil, and then a layer or 2 of newspaper, and then another layer of aluminium foil. Obviously with the aluminium foil shiny side pointing outwards the whole time. And if you can make yourself a little lid as well on top of that, your pouch becomes literally a cool bag. And if you've got your frozen bottle of water in there, that's your ice block. And from experience, it really does work. I will have a side pouch on one of my larger rucksacks. I can put a litre bottle in there. I can, because it's a 10 litre pouches on most of the ones I own. So within there, I've got a litre bottle for the water, which is the ice block. I'll have 3 cans of beer. Let's call that a litre on top of that as well. And then I've got a cool bag for my food. And the last thing you want to do, especially if you're taking fresh meat with you, is you don't want that spoiling. So that meat goes in the food bag. into that pouch as well. So you've got your portable, super cheap cool bag as well. So you're probably asking, okay, well, you're going away for more than an overnight stay. So how are you going to keep your food fresh for, or cool, fresh, cool, for a longer period of time? And again, tried and tested through history, you build a cellar, a nice cool cellar. And obviously building a cellar sounds quite energy consuming, but all you really need to do is dig a hole about 18 inches deep, 45 centimeters, just large enough to hold the food that you've got with you. And that depth, there's a huge temperature difference between the surface and what you've got down below, and that will keep your food cool for a lot longer than you realize, and it will stop it spoiling. Obviously I would recommend covering the top of it. Even if you can lucky enough to find a stone large enough to fill that gap, that stone, as it heats up with the sunlight, will draw the heat from any heat that you've got in that hole up. I believe in the days of the Raj and the Indian, when in Britain did their thing in India, they were using what was known as an evaporation fridge, and it was a tin box with a tray on the top with water. And as the heat would evaporate the water, it would draw the hot air from inside the container out. And allegedly it would keep milk for about a week. And obviously you had to keep topping up the tray. But yeah, if you're lucky enough to find a stone large enough to cover that hole, it will do the same job. You're not going to be living in that environment, so you should be okay. Milk, that's your choice if you're taking milk. Good luck with it if you are. If you are exerting yourself physically, make sure that you stop when you start feeling hot and have a little drink. Even if you're not feeling thirsty, you will be sweating and you'll be dehydrating as well. So stop, rinse the mouth, have a little drink, get in some shade, or even if possible, if you are physically exerting yourself, try and do it in the shade at least anyway. If you feel that gust of wind coming across you, stop, enjoy it. Let it do its thing and cool you down a little bit. Then you can get back to work. Even if the tasks you have planned for the day take a little bit longer, heat exhaustion is the last thing you want to have at the end of the day. So make the most of those little breaks and definitely enjoy them too. Especially the gusts of wind that come through. They are heavenly when you have those moments. I feel like I've said that already. Heavenly. Anyway. But yes, they are. Here's one. I don't know if the microphone's picking that up. Another important thing as well, if you have been sweating, and no doubt you will be sweating during the day, that sweat, as if you've ever experienced it and you've had a very sweaty workout or you've just been sweating too much, you get those white rings on your clothing. They are basically your body losing sodium, which is salt. So at the end of the day, while you're preparing a fire or while you're preparing your food, you need to rehydrate. And that doesn't mean drinking a gallon of water. It means rehydrating. And salt, the sodium is what you've lost. I think that was a famous issue during the Vietnam War, I believe. The soldiers were issued salt tablets and sodium tablets. If you don't possess any of those, one option, of course, is your isotonic tablets that you can drop into some water. Obviously, depending on if you've got a drinking vessel that's separate from your canteen, you can use that. Sometimes you can buy them with minerals as well that your body may have lost. So they're useful, but don't rely on them on long trips. If you take one every day, your kidneys and livers start to get Your kidneys and liver start to get overworked. They're trying to process those fluids. You end up actually urinating a lot more because of it, and then you're just defeating the point of rehydrating. So the other option, which is a more sensible one and more traditional, is you take a tiny piece of salt. Not salt with iodine, but proper salt that you would grind up in a mill, not the already granulated stuff, because that's almost synthetic these days. There's not enough real salt in that to call salt, in my opinion. So yeah, over here in Sweden they call it fling salt. The stuff that you'll find in a salt mill, like your salt grinder, like a pepper grinder. Have I explained that well enough? Yeah, so place one of those under the tongue and let it dissolve. And yes, the taste is not nice unless you've got that nice Himalayan sea salt or one of the other was Celtic salt. That's another that's high in magnesium as well. That's good if you're dehydrated. Oh, look at me coming up remembering stuff. Yeah, so let that dissolve under the tongue and then a little bit of water and then swallow that down while it's dissolved. If you swallow it down while it's still solid, it doesn't really have the same effect because your body has to then work to dissolve that in your stomach a little bit longer, and it doesn't work as fast, is what I'm saying, really. So yeah, a little bit of real salt under the tongue, let it dissolve, endure the bitterness, and then swallow it down and obviously rinse the mouth out if you require. So that's pretty much most of my tips. The frozen water thing and the turning your pouch into the cool bag is something I've started to rely on quite heavily. Just having an ice cold drink at the end of the day is such a pleasure than drinking warm water. So thanks for watching. If you've managed to watch all the way through, I appreciate your patience and I hope you have learned something. And I will catch you on the next one. Bugger. Missed my spot. There's my spot. My spot's there. Still in the sun. I'm blinding myself. That dreadful heat stroke. And then I'm basically have, if I know there's not going to be the best option you can possibly go for, if you're lucky enough to get one, is obviously the Bedouin's costume that they wear. Phenomenally efficient at keeping you cool in extreme temperatures when you have no shade to at least get under. But that's, I guess, another topic entirely. But that is the ultimate in keeping cool clothing, without a doubt.